Good evening, students. Welcome back to your English online class. I'm sure everything's well. You all are taking good care of yourself. So, students, today we are starting with the second part of lesson 2 of the book Behave. The first part we have already seen. We are starting with the second part titled The Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. Students, this chapter is about origin of Shehnai and the contribution of Ustad Bismillah Khan to bring this instrument called Shehnai onto classical stage. His contribution in bringing this instrument onto classical stage. So we are going to see about it in this part. Think of Shehnai and the first thing you'll probably imagine is a wedding or a similar occasion or function. This is so obvious that whenever we think of Shehnai, first thing that comes to our mind is a function, a wedding or something, right? The next would probably be Ustad Bismillah Khan, the Shehnai maestro. So basically students, Ustad Bismillah Khan, he was a Shehnai maestro, right? He was a master of Shehnai, of playing Shehnai, right? So he was maestro of playing this instrument called Shehnai. Okay, so these two things come into our mind whenever we think of Shehnai. Okay, students, let's start with the lesson. Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of a musical instrument called pongi in royal residence, for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. Pongi became the generic name for reeded noisemakers. Few had thought it would one day be revived. Students, actually, Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of a musical instrument called pongi because of its unpleasant sound. It had that unpleasant or high pitched tone. Okay, so due to that, this king, he banned the use of this instrument, right? And pungi became the generic name for reeded noisemaker. So it became a generic name. Generic name is the name given to a group of instruments. Okay, and it became generic name for reeded. Reeded is like wind instruments, like you have flutes. Okay, so it became that name. And some of them people thought that soon it will be revived. Revived means it will recover. That means the ban will be cancelled. But what happened? A barber of a family of professional musicians who had access to the royal palace decided to improve the tonal quality of the pongi. So there was a barber who belonged to a musician family, right? He decided that he will improve the quality of this instrument, right? And for this, what did he do? For this, he chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem. Okay, so it was like he chose a hollow stem. Okay, hollow, through which you can see like that was longer and broader than pongi. So it was longer and broader than pongi. Okay, and he just made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. He made 7 holes in that. Okay, and when he played on it, closing and opening some of these holes, soft and melodious sounds were produced. So you all must have seen flute also has these holes. So in the same way, Shehnai also has these 7 holes through which he started playing, closing and opening some of the holes. And what happened after that? Melodious sounds, sweet sounds were produced. He played the instrument before royalty, that means before kings, and everyone was impressed by such sound, right? Instrument so different from pungi had to be given a new name. Obviously this instrument was different from pungi, right? So it was given a new name. As the story goes, since it was played in Shah's chambers, since it was played in royal chambers in front of kings, and it was played by a nai. Nai, you all know, it's a Hindi name for barber. So due to that, the instrument was given the name Shehnai. Okay, since it was played in Shah's chambers and it was played by a nai, so the combination of two, the instrument was given the name Shehnai. Okay, the sound of Shehnai began to be considered auspicious, and the sound it began to be considered auspicious. Auspicious is like so pure, and it brought good fortune. Okay, so it was so auspicious to have this sound, and for this reason, it is still played in temples and is an indispensable component of any North Indian wedding. This you all know that Shehnai is also played in temples because it is so auspicious, right? and it is unavoidable. Indispensable means unavoidable part of any wedding. You all know Shehnai is played in every wedding, right? In the past, Shehnai was part of Naubat, or traditional ensemble of 9 instruments found at royal courts. What is Naubat? Naubat is actually, a group of 9 instruments that is always found in royal courts. And since this Shehnai was so auspicious, so it was included in this Naubat. That means it was one part of these 9 instruments. Okay. Now, traditional ensemble means traditional things. Okay, so this Shehnai was also part of these 9 instruments. Till recently, it was used only in temples and weddings. And the credit for bringing this instrument onto this classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. Okay, recently this Shehnai was used only in temples and weddings. But credit for bringing this instrument called Shehnai onto classical stage, right? Classical stage पे लाने का credit किसको जाता है? It goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan, right? And let's see how. As a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played gilli danda near a pond in the ancient state of Dumrao in Bihar. So basically, students, now we are going to start with the account of Bismillah Khan, right? We are going to know about him, right? How he played it, how he learned to play this instrument, right? And how he mastered this instrument, right? So basically, students, as a 5-year-old boy, Bismillah Khan used to play gilli danda, right, in the city of Dumrao in Bihar, and he would regularly go to nearby Biharji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita. Chaita is song, right? He used to sing songs. And for that, he used to earn a big laddu weighing 1.25 kg as a prize, which was used to be given by local Maharaja, right? This happened 80 years ago, and the little boy has travelled far to earn the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna Award, right? So basically, students, he worked so hard, he mastered the instrument Shehnai, right? And he used to get, as a reward, he used to get laddu from Maharaja, right? So it was like the beginning. And then after that, he earned a lot of prizes, number of, awards and all, right? He was born on 21st of March 1916, and he belonged to a well-known family of musicians from Bihar, right? His family had a musical background, right? His grandfather, Rasul Baks Khan, was the Shehnai Nawaz of Bhojpur King's court. So he was a Shehnai Nawaz, right? He used to play Shehnai so well. His father, Paigambar Baks, and other paternal ancestors, that means other ancestors, right? The other people in the family and the other ancestors of father, right? They were also great Shehnai players. So basically, he had a musical background. The young boy took to music early in life. Like, he started learning music early in life when he was so young. At the age of 3, when his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house in Banaras, now Varanasi, Bismillah was fascinated watching his uncles practice the Shehnai. So his mother took him to his uncle's place when he was 3, and he was so fascinated. He was surprised. It was unbelievable for him to see his uncle playing Shehnai so well, right? Soon Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Baks to Vishnu temple at Banaras, where Baks was employed to play the Shehnai. So basically, he started following his uncle to learn Shehnai, right? Ali Baks would play the Shehnai and Bismillah would sit captivated. So he used to sit captivated. He used to get lost in the music that used to come from the Shehnai that was played by his uncle Ali Baks, right? At the age of 14, Bismillah accompanies his uncle to Allahabad music conference, and at the end of his recital, Ustad Fayaz Khan patted the young boy's back and said, "Work hard and you shall make it." So, at age of 14, he went with his uncle to Allahabad music conference, and at the end of the recital, that means session, Ustad Fayaz Khan patted his back and said that yes, work hard and you will get your goals. With the opening of All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938 came Bismillah's big break. So he got big break. He got big chance. He soon became an often heard Shehnai player on radio, right? Often heard. That means he was getting famous day by day. And when India gained independence on 15th August 1947, Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shehnai, right? And he poured his heart out. That means he played it so well, right out into Rag Kafi from the Red Fort to an audience which included Mahatma Gandhi and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who later gave his famous Tyrus with Destiny speech. So, there were a number of famous guests there. Mahatma Gandhi was there, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was there, and he played the Shehnai so well there in front of them in order to, respect the nation, right? Okay. So he greeted the nation with his Shehnai. Bismillah Khan has given many memorable performances both in India and abroad. So he had given many performances in India also and in abroad also. His first trip abroad was to Afghanistan, where King Zahir Khan was so taken. That means he was so impressed by this maestro, that means Master Bismillah Khan, that he gifted him priceless Persian carpets and other souvenirs. So he went to Afghanistan, and there the king Zahir Khan was so impressed by him that he offered or gifted Bismillah Khan what? Some precious Persian carpets and number of memorable things, right, as gifts. The king of Afghanistan was not the only one to be fascinated with Bismillah's music. That means he was not the only one. Number of people got fascinated by Bismillah's music. Film director Vijay Bhatt was so impressed after hearing Bismillah that he even named a film, right, after the instrument, and the film was named as Goonj Uthi Shehnai, right? So he was so impressed that he named a film only. The film was a hit, right? That means it got so famous, and one of Bismillah Khan's composition, Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya, turned out to be a nationwide chartbuster. Chartbuster is like got so famous, right? Despite this huge success in the cellular world, Bismillah Khan's ventures in film music were limited to two. That means in film music it was two only. One was Vijay Bhatt Goonj Uthi Shehnai, and next one was Vikram Srinivas Kannad venture. What do you mean by venture? Venture is like task or project, right? So in film industry there were two. First one Goonj Uthi Shehnai, and the second one was Sanadi Appanna, right? I just can't come to terms with the artificiality and glamour of the film world, he said with emphasis. So with focus he said that I can't come. That means this artificial glamour of film industry is not for me, right, he said. So it was his nature, like he was so true, he was so dedicated towards his passion towards music, that he said that this artificiality of glamour world of film industry is not for me, right? Awards and recognition came thick and fast. That means thick and fast is like he started getting number of awards. Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to be invited to perform at prestigious Lincoln Central Hall in United States of America. So he was the first Indian to be invited to perform at this Center Hall, right? He also took part in World Exposition in Montreal and Cannes Art Festival and in the Saka Trade Fair. So he got number of opportunities and he played there so well, and he had shown the cultural heritage of our country in number of places, right? Okay, so well known did he become internationally. Then an auditorium in Tehran was named after him. That means he was so well, he was a master, right? That number of things were named after him. Even an auditorium was named after him, right? Tahar Mosque, Ustad Bismillah Khan, right? So this was the name given to the auditorium, right? So he got so famous, and number of awards like national awards like Padma Shri, the Padma Bhushan and Padma Vibhushan were conferred on him. That means number of awards, he won number of awards, right? In 2001, Ustad Bismillah Khan was awarded India's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna, with a coveted award. That means coveted is like desired award. He wanted that award, resting on his chest and his eyes glinting or shining with rare happiness. He said, all I would like to say is, teach your children music. This is his Hindustan's richest tradition. Even the West is now coming to learn our music, right? So after that award his eyes were glinting, right? Glinting is like shining, and with rare happiness. Rare is like which is not common. With rare happiness he said, all I would like to say is, teach your children music. This is Hindustan's richest tradition. Even the West is now coming to learn our music. So we should teach our children music. It is a very important part of our tradition, right? In spite of having traveled all over the world, Khan Saab, as he's fondly called. So he's fondly is like willingly, people call with love, call him Khan Sahab, right? He's exceedingly fond of Banaras, Dumrao, and they remain for him the most wonderful towns of the world because he was from that town, right? So he loved that town. One time a student of his once wanted him to head a SHEHNAI school in US, and a student promised to recreate the atmosphere of Banaras by replicating the temples there. Okay, replicating is like copying, sort of, right? So one of his student promised him that he will make the same atmosphere as of Banaras, right? But Khan Sahab asked him if he would be able to transport river Ganga. Khan Sahab asked him that if he would be able to transport river Ganga also there, because that was the place he used to practice, if you remember, right? Practice this SHEHNAI, right? Later he's remembered to have said, later उन्होंने ये भी कहा था, that is why whenever I am in a foreign country, I keep yearning, that means I keep craving to see Hindustan. So he said that whenever I'm in any foreign country, I always to see Hindustan whenever. So he misses Hindustan, right? While in Mumbai, I think only Banaras and Holy Ganga, and while in Banaras I miss the unique Mata of Dumrao. Okay, Mata is actually a beverage. It's a beverage, a drink which is made up of dahi and buttermilk and all, right? So he remembers, or he misses that, right? Ustad Bismillah Khan's life is a perfect example of rich cultural heritage of India, and one that effortlessly accepts that devout is a devotee. Okay, devotee Muslim like him can very naturally play the SHEHNAI every morning at Kashi Vishwanath temple. So he is the perfect example of rich cultural heritage of our country, right? And how this Muslim devotee, that means Bismillah Khan, right, how he accepts, how he used to naturally play the this SHEHNAI every morning at Kashi Vishwanath temple. So students, this was how we have seen the origin of SHEHNAI and how the contribution of Bismillah Khan, Ustad Bismillah Khan, in bringing this into at the classical stage, right? So this was your chapter, students. This shows the rich and cultural heritage of our country, India. I hope you all have understood the lesson, students. Go through the lesson, read from the book. If any query, you can ask me, right? At least go through the lesson twice. Okay, go through the word meanings and all. Okay, it's a very interesting story. It's a very interesting lesson telling us about Ustad Bismillah Khan and his contribution in our this heritage and bringing this SHEHNAI to classical stage. Okay, and he has beautifully shown the rich cultural heritage of our country, right? So students, I'll see you all in your next class. Please do read the chapter thoroughly. Okay, just take care, students. Thank you.